What's up YouTube, Capital G here. Got a little bit of news for you guys to check out in this video. The final polling results from the 2020 Structure Deck voting are in. Congratulations, Yu-Gi-Oh community, you shut me up. It turns out that memes are just too OP, and these Ice Barrier players, they were not gonna let their dreams be memes, because in a shocking twist, guys, Ice Barriers have actually ended up winning the final polls. It wasn't by the widest of margins, less than 0.5%, but it doesn't matter how small of the margin of victory, a W is still a W. And I'm sure a lot of people are automatically gonna start blaming this on me. Cap G, before you made your stupid video and opened your big mouth, Cyber Style was completely in control. They had a stranglehold on this voting poll, and then you had to go ahead and ruin it. And yeah, basically as soon as I made my video, I feel like the Yu-Gi-Oh community just kind of revolted against it and said, we'll show you, Cap G. How dare you tell us what to vote for? And then Ice Barriers immediately kind of slingshotted, they slingshot in the first place. Now, they didn't hold that lead. If you guys were not monitoring the polls, I didn't make an update after that because I didn't want to like spam you guys with voting videos. But after that, they dropped back to third place, and then Gustos kind of rose up, and I was like, whoa, Gustos got a lot of momentum out of kind of nowhere. Maybe Gustos are going to end up winning this, but then Ice Barriers they surged. They surged back to first place. Now, Cyber Style was pretty much consistent during the polling. It was always either in first place or second place, just because, you know, it's a very popular anime deck. It's an old school archetype. The support from Cybernetic Horizon was very well received, so it doesn't surprise me that people want to see more support for Zane, even if this ends up being Cyber Dark support. I just feel like people really like the character, and I didn't think that you know, he was going to drop to even like third place. I felt like it was just going to you know, be one of the decks that we got. But yeah, guys, we're getting an Ice Barrier structure deck. I can say, before I talk about the structure decks and what we could possibly see, I gotta say there are two very valuable lessons that I take away from this. Number one, never underestimate the power of memes, because clearly it's OP. I mean, some people are like, Cap, they really want an Ice Barrier structure deck. People want to see this deck actually be good. I mean, I'm not gonna say definitively that's not true, but I honestly think people just voted for memes. That's just my opinion. And then number two, don't ever tell the Yu-Gi-Oh community to do something, because a lot of times they'll do the opposite just to spite you. So those are the two takeaways that I learned in this. And I guess maybe even the third is, don't underestimate an underdog, because I thought that hell would have froze over before Ice Barriers got a structure deck, and that's not even like a play on words. It's not even like a pun associated with Ice Barriers and how Trishula froze over the dual terminal world. Anyways, you can see the final results right here. They are 100% official, in case you guys just don't trust YG organization, confirming that Ice Barriers are in first place, or they did finish in first place. We're going to be getting that structure deck, and then Cyber Style in second place. Now, the interesting thing about Ice Barriers, and this is why I said in my initial video where I was looking at the archetypes, that I don't know if Ice Barrier is like a savable archetype is. I don't really know the direction Konami can take this deck. You guys see, I've pulled up every single Ice Barrier card basically in existence, and yeah, I will never dispute the synchro monsters are broken. I mean, this is an archetype from like Dual Terminal 2, and half their synchro cards, you know, well over a decade later, are still limited. And Brionic, that card was banned forever. They had to errata that freaking thing. Even Gungnir at one point was a card that was on the limited list. Like, no one disputes the power of their synchro monsters. It's just when you look at these main deck monsters, then they're just, oh my goodness, they're awful, especially when you start talking about the high level ones. I kind of feel like Konami might need to, I think there's like one or two of them that are actually pretty decent. I want to say like there's a level 2 in here. I think it might be this guy, Prior. If you control an ice barrier, you can special summon this card, blah, blah, blah. Tribute this card, target an ice barrier in your graveyard, special summon. Okay, yeah, okay. There's like a couple of ice barriers in the archetype that are pretty decent, and I feel like maybe Medallion is a Rhoda for the archetype. Add one ice barrier. Okay, so they do have a Rhoda as well. Yeah, but the point that I'm making is I'm not really sure how much ground Konami has to work with. I mean, obviously the synchros are insane, and I mean, maybe Konami makes another new synchro monster, which I would just assume is going to be broken just based on the history of the ice barrier synchros that we have. But I honestly feel like they might just need to scrap the main deck monsters. Maybe keep like a couple of them, but outside of that, they might have to just build all that from the ground up. The extra deck is already good. Maybe they'll give us a couple, or maybe they'll give us like one new synchro, but I feel like they just gotta really kind of redo the entire main deck outside of a couple of good cards. Obviously keep like Medallion, maybe keep Prior, but the rest of that has just got to go if they want it to be, you know, a good deck. Now Cyber Dragons or Cyber Style is very interesting. I've talked about it before. I actually think Cyber Dragons are completely good. I don't really know where Konami could kind of take that archetype. I mean, you can always give an archetype more good cards, but like Cyber Dragons are in such a good place, I don't really think that they need a full-on structure deck. Like the Cyber Dragons really need, you know, 8 new cards, including maybe like a new extra deck monster. I think Konami should focus on Cyber Darts specifically. I mean, Cyber Darkness Dragon is a card that had potential. Konami just kind of killed this card with the ridiculous summoning conditions. I mean, the fact that this card requires 5 Cyber Dark effect monsters, like what the fuck were they thinking when they designed this card? The effect on it is fine. You summon it, you get to equip any dragon or any machine from your graveyard, which, you know, there is some setup sending some of those extra deck dragons or machines to the graveyard, maybe even like a 5-headed dragon. That's what they were kind of going to, like, oh, Cap, you could equip a 5-headed dragon. This guy will be 7,000 attack, and it will have built-in negation, which is cool, but like they really just have to give us an easier way to summon Cyber Darkness Dragon. Like if they just give us a card that cheats around this summoning condition, maybe we can just, you know, banish like 2 or 3 Cyber Darks, or, you know, use like a few of them in some way. Like I feel like this could actually be playable. So as unlikely as it seems, I would really just kind of want Konami to just give us a pure Cyber Dart structure deck, just straight up edgy black coat season 3 Zane. Just go in with Cyber Darks, you know, make this card a lot easier to summon, because it does have negation against anything, and I don't even think it's a hard once per turn, but when you summon it, it does get that one material, and it's not the easiest thing to equip. But we'll have to ultimately see where this is. For the Gusto players out there, rest in pepperonis. Gusto was, as you can see, the voting was incredibly tight. Like Gusto just about a half a point, or excuse me, a point and a half down from Cyber Style. I think there's a chance that Konami could give this a structure deck, maybe if they don't want to go to some of the older ones, or they don't just want to come up with, you know, another structure deck. I think Gusto will maybe get a structure deck just because the voting was this tight, but Trickstar, Morphotronics, probably not. Maybe in a side set, maybe we'll see Aoi's Eyes and get support in like, you know, a legendary duelist or something like that. That could be on the table, but I think that the voting was interesting, and you know, Yu-Gi-Oh community, you can take this victory. I'll hold the L. I said don't vote for ice barriers, but the memes obviously were just too OP. Anyways, whatever you guys think of the voting, you leave that in the comment section below. What do you guys want to see out of the ice barrier structure? That more importantly, how would you go about fixing ice barriers as an archetype? I mean, we're not going to argue about if ice barriers are a broken archetype, and I mean broken literally, like they don't work. We know that ice barriers like doesn't even function. So how would you go about fixing the ice barrier archetype now that we're probably going to be getting maybe about 10 new cards for that? And then also when it comes to Cyber Style, what do you want to see from there? Because again, I believe that Cyber Dragon is perfectly fine. I believe Konami's got to focus on Cyber Darks and get this deck to really function, especially because you got a couple of pretty decent extra deck cards. Well, the original Cyber Dart Dragon, maybe not so much, but this one has potential. We just got to figure out a way to summon this damn thing. We need a 1 card like easy button to summon this. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.
This video has been brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audible.com/megacapitalG. Over 180,000 titles to choose from on your mobile device. I'm listening to the amazing I Can't Make This Up by Kevin Hart. Link in the description.